Who's that, Miss Ruth?
Yes.
So have you gotten the carrier set up under a dispatcher agreement?
Not yet. They're looking it over, but they said they'll send it by Monday, by tomorrow.
And
Yes.
what equipment, what equipment type?
Dry vans.
Okay. What about you, Allison?
I haven't actually started anything yet. I just finished my module one and took the quiz on yesterday. So I'm going to start working on that this upcoming week.
How you think you did on the quiz? It's more of a self-paced thing. You were there any questions that you had on there? And I'm probably going to revise that too. But was there
Right.
any questions you had on there?
No, because I had been listening to, not really, because I had been listening to you. You started on your last on the last training. I came in a little bit late, but you had been, I believe it was you and Sharon, you had been going over the quiz. Plus, I had been listening to your tapes, your YouTube videos, even before I started coming into the training. So a lot of the stuff, it was repetitive, so I knew a lot of the answers. The only things that I didn't know was like the 100,000 and a million. I wasn't sure about the definite meaning of co-brokering or brokering. And I think there was one thing. I think there was the question you had twice and you worded it different, so it kind of confused me a little bit. And that was the question about cold calling and cold calls. But I think I was like, okay, is this the same question worded a different way in the section one of it, but mostly. And then I was stuck on question 5. And I think it was just, I think the answer was just carrier. I think you asked, blank is moving freight from one point A to point B, or from one section to the next. And so I was like, is he wanting us to say carriers? Does he want to say trucking? Does he want us to say, you know what I mean? So I wasn't sure. It was like I thought the question was worded funny. So I had a hard time answering 5. Is to move freight from one to the next. So I'm like, would I say trucking? Would I say carrier, owner operator?
Yeah. Question 5. Yeah. Can you see my screen? I got it up on the
I
screen.
am. I do see
Yeah.
it.
I think that one was I should have put it in parentheses, some choices of the answer, but I think it's transporting. When you're transporting, you're moving freight
Oh, okay. Okay.
from
Free,
one
free.
place to another. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So I did get that one wrong because for some reason I put, yeah. So the other ones I knew, like number 9, I was like truck surge, that's trucker's path. And yeah, so I did okay, but I probably would have gotten number 5 wrong. So.
Okay, so that's the fill in the blank ones, and then the true false ones. You're okay with those, or the
Mm-hmm.
multiple choice, the double brokering. You said something about double brokering and co-brokering.
Right. So I actually had to look that up because I'm just like, okay, is this yeah, so of course it ended up being the first one. So I was like wavering between whether it was the first one or I think it was the second one. No, 2 brokers double up on a shipper. I don't know why I was confused about that, but
Yeah.
so it was the first one. I mean, the rest of it pretty much I knew. I think that when we got down to the bottom, could you scroll down a little bit? There was some questions there, and I was actually in that class about common carrier authority and contract carrier authority and broker of property, that I was like, if I had not been in that particular class, because you didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, I would not have known. I would not have known the answer to those. But
You said
I
you've
actually,
been in a, you said you
I
were
was
in a class. You were in a class that taught that. You saying, or
Yes, I was actually in a class that taught that, and I took notes. So that's the reason why I know the answers to that one. Let me see. Yeah, so like for instance, what which one was it? The last two, like not number 13, which types of authority does not apply to motor carriers. And so I was in a class when you talked about common and household and you know what it means and everything like that. So
right. So number 13, the actual clue is in the question too. So and clue is in the answer. So which of these types of authorities does not apply to motor carriers?
Right.
Well,
so
the only one here that doesn't involve a motor carrier is when it says broker.
Broker. Right.
Because you got authorities. Brokers have two types of authorities: a broker of property and a broker of household goods. And then motor carriers have 4 types that I know of. It could be more, but common carriers, contract carriers, passenger carriers, and household goods. So by process of elimination for number 13, the answer is A. Right. And what was the other one that you would?
And 14 because right, because you had said you broke it down. You told us what a common carrier is, what a contract carrier is, a passenger carrier, which is the tour buses, and the HHG carrier, and then you know. So
right.
I mean, I took notes on that, but that's not something that you prior had spent a lot of time on. So
okay.
I would have been stuck on those two.
Yeah, the broker, this one here, which of these types of authorities apply to motor carriers? Now, so you could eliminate A and B because those are both broker types. So the obvious answer there is C, right? Common carrier authority. So, but the definition of each one of those 4 types, you know, the common carriers, an owner operator who has a common carrier authority. So if you look on, let's go to forms and documents and look at the
and in the definition you gave for a common carrier, MC authority can carry any product anywhere. That's what I had in my notes.
Right, common carriers. So the ones that we deal with mostly are the common carriers. The owner operators with their own authority. Their authority type or the category is a common carrier of a property except household goods. They can touch all 48 states. They can go anywhere. They have the authority issued to them by the FMCSA to go any states. And then you have contracted carriers who they're pretty much locked into a specific shipper or company. And then, I mean, they can still go all over the country, but they're locked in. And then household goods are, go ahead.
So for me, being brand spanking new, aside from the quiz, it's just good to know the difference. It's good to know the definition of, you know, what it is they are. So
right, it's good to know it because what if you go on, here's a scenario, what if you go on Trucker's Pad, let's say you're doing carrier acquisition and you're trying to get a carrier under a dispatcher agreement, and you go on Trucker's Pad and you contact an owner operator that you saw on there, let's say a dry van, and you started talking to them, had good conversation, and you say, he said, send me your information, I'll fill out your dispatch agreement and profile. And you say, by the way, when you send back the dispatch agreement and the profile, can you send me those other documents too? And of course, we know those other documents, one of those other documents is their MC authority letter. So you get back the dispatch agreement, you get back the profile, you get back the certificate of insurance, the W-9, and you get back the MC authority letter, which I have on the screen here. What happens if you see this? You say, I got it all back, but you didn't really look at to see what type of authority you had. What if it said HHG, household goods carriers? Or what if it said contracted carrier? When you go on the load boards and you try to find loads for them and you call a broker, they look that MC up, they're going to disqualify that person because he's not the type of carrier that they need to haul their freight. So an HHG, a household goods carrier, cannot haul freight of a carrier who has a common carrier authority.
Correct. Correct.
You see?
And so that would probably just mean, in the situation, if that happens, that would probably just mean that you probably didn't vet that carrier properly.
Well, you may have vetted the carrier. Well, yeah, you probably didn't vet the carrier probably as far as Safer or as far as any other vetting tool that you've been trained on or that you already know of. So you just saw something on Trucker's Path with an MC, and then you looked up the information on Safer, and maybe you bypassed it. Maybe you just saw his or her entity type said carrier, and you said, okay, well, it's not a broker, so I got a shot. And then you saw at the bottom where it said power units 1, driver 1. So you say, okay, this is just a one-on-one person. He's a one-man team. He's an owner-operator. Let me go ahead and reach out to him, start the conversation. All's going well in the conversation. And then he say, yeah, send me your information. I'll let you be my dispatcher. Not knowing that this person has an HHG authority, like he's a moving company. Or a one-man show, or one truck moving company, whatever. Or he's a contract carrier, or he's a passenger carrier. He's not a common carrier. So he's something other than the authority that we would commonly need to book loads for the way that we do it as far as dispatching. So just something to be mindful. Yeah, it's good to know it. It's not, I don't want to say it's not important, but it's good to be able to distinguish. That's the word I'm looking for. The difference between the carriers, so you'll have an understanding which is which, and the ones that we focus on, of course, are the ones that are common carriers because they're out here. All the loads that you see on the load boards, the freight for those loads posted are designed for carriers who have a common carrier MC authority. Okay. And let's see here. So that's that. And then so anything else under the, listen, we got multiple choice.
No, that was primarily it. That was primarily it, because you go over a lot of the information. So. No, that was it. You go over a lot of the information in the training. So most of the other things I pretty much knew.
Okay.
From listening to the videos, yes.
Okay. So today I want to look at one, two, three load board as a little bit of load board training. And see some different features of it. Now, does anyone not know what a load board is and the purpose of a load board? And we hear this term a lot: load board and booking loads and brokers and shippers and carriers. So one of the terms you're going to hear a lot is load boards. And then there are different types of load boards based off of the features that those load boards offer, the services that they provide, things like that. So is there anyone who doesn't understand the purpose of a load board or what it's used for? And for those who are going to be listening on the YouTube channel later when I post this, the main purpose of a load board is where brokers and shippers, they post their loads on the load boards, and carriers, owner-operators, truck drivers log in. They either make their trucks available as being empty for a load, or they log into a load board with their own accounts to search for loads for their trucks. In order to have a load board, you need an MC number to have a login for the load boards. Now, as a dispatcher, you can probably, the way around this is once you get one of your carriers under a dispatcher agreement, you can just say, hey, I'm going to use, can I use your authority, your MC authority, to create a login for this 123 load board, or the better paying load boards, the load boards that get you better paying loads. Now, I can't see a dispatcher saying no to that, because what dispatcher in his right mind would turn that down? Especially, you say, I'm going to use your MC to purchase a load board. I'm paying for it in an effort to find you better paying loads. So that's the angle that you can work with that, strategize, and they'll say, of course, go ahead. And it's, with some load boards, you may get a kickback in the sense that they may send an alert to the MC owner asking them, did you actually purchase this? And you just let your carrier know, yeah, you're gonna get an alert sent to you from this particular load board or that particular load board, and you just say, yeah, I authorize this or whatever. And then from that point on, everything else is pretty much smooth sailing. So once you get past that point, you get a login. Like with this one, this is the premium version of 123 load board. It's $55 a month. Let's see here. It's $55 a month, and it's a carrier version load board. Now you have, if you see right here on the screen, this is a carrier version. You also have, if you drop down, you have a broker shipper version that offers different features. Brokers and shippers are able to post loads. They're able to find trucks. And then, of course, they can do mileage calculations and rate checks, because they want to do comparing and contrasting the rates of their loads to their competitors. Okay, that's under the broker/shipper feature. Okay, broker load board logins, they have more types or more features. They can post loads, search loads. They can post trucks and search for trucks. Those are the features of a broker level login, irregardless of the load board type. And then of the carrier type of login for any load board, they are only able to post their trucks as being available and search loads. That's it. That's the only purpose a carrier would need for a load board. A carrier would not need to have the ability on a load board to post loads, because carriers do not post loads. You guys follow that? You with me so far? If you can hear me, type yes into the chat. I want to make sure everybody can hear me. Make sure I'm still with you. Okay. Just want to test. Okay. So the carrier level logins, again, as a recap, they can find loads or search loads, and then they can post their trucks as being available. The broker level load boards, they can post trucks and search for trucks. They can post loads and search for loads. That's what the brokers can do. So I have a premium login for 123 load board for the carrier level login. Okay. And the feature that I want to look at is, from a strategic point, is the load availability. So load availability. Somebody give me a good state. Let me hit none on all this, clear all this out. And if we notice here on this table layout version of this load availability section, this is how you get to it here. You can either get to it here, or if you go to the dashboard, you can select load availability right here as well. Okay, so you got it in map format. or you got it in table layout format. Okay. Robert says Indiana. And Ruth says Texas. Okay, so let's do something. Let's do Indiana to Texas. Let's do that. How about that? So let's see here. Clearing out some screen stuff here. All right, so now to read this again, you see the red, if you read the chart where it says red is hot, this amber or orange is warm, and the blue, light blue is cold. So those are the areas. So get the whole picture before you haul. Click here for map layout. So I don't think it's going to let me click it. I don't have Adobe. My Adobe Flash is blocked. I'm going to have to unblock that or put a plug in here. But I could just look at this map and see what states are pretty much hot. So Robert said Indiana. And if you notice here too, you have 3 columns for each state and the provinces of Canada. You have inbound, outbound, and intrastate. Now remember, intrastate are for carriers who only have a DOT. They don't have an MC. If you have a DOT number, then you can pretty much haul freight within the state of your where you live, your residence. But MC could take you all over. Okay, so the 3 columns again is inbound, outbound. So freight coming into a particular state, like for example Indiana, there's 2,225. in my system. Good to know everybody's still here. Let me reshare the screen if I can. Okay. I'll do a system check afterwards. I'm going to turn video off and all right. One second. Very unusual behavior on this system. See what's going on. Bear with me, please. Okay. All right, I apologize for that lag and bandwidth, and I'll keep the video portion of it off. So, can everyone hear me? You probably can't see me because I turned the video off, but if you can hear me, just speak or type into the chat. All right. Still see your screen. Okay. All right. So what we were doing was 1, 2, 3, and the load availability. Here's the login. Here's the dashboard for 1, 2, 3 on the premium version for the carrier. We can get to load availability either from the left column or from the area right here. Hot states are red, warm and orange, and cold is blue, light blue. You notice all the equipment types are checked. Robert said Indiana, and I believe Ruth said Texas. So we have inbound and outbound columns. So coming out of Indiana, there's 2,230 loads coming out of Indiana. And for the state of Texas, we have 3,129 outbound, 6,336 inbound. So you can pretty much plan your trip for whatever equipment type. So let's do this. Robert said Indiana, Ruth said Texas, but we didn't choose an equipment type. So I'm going to hit none to deselect it, and we're going to choose the three main ones, the dry vans, flatbeds, and reefers. We're going to resubmit this and see if these numbers change. And they do. Indiana is now 2070. Texas is now 3073. So let's click freight coming out of Indiana. Click that link at 2070 loads, and let's put it in order. You click the offer, you're going to list this. So we have these $7,000 loads. Now, if you notice, this is an RG. RG is a removable gooseneck. It's more like a heavy duty kind of, it's not a hot shot. It's an RG. It's 40,000 pounds, so it's a larger, like a low boy, a cattle trailer, possum trailer kind of thing. Those are the heavy duty ones. 40,000 pounds, $7,000 going 1996 miles. That's a lot of things there. But here's one here. Hammond, Indiana, which is like right south of Chicago, 69, I-69. Robert should be familiar with that. I-69 south of Chicago is Hammond, Indiana. Going to Washington State. That's the flatbed. I think the T stands for a tarp. So it's probably a tarp load. It's going 2,000 miles, 2012, $5,000. So if you click anything on here, you open up the flatbed with tarps. You open it up, get more details. It's paying $2.49 a mile. And you get more details about the load. You get back calls, the company, their credit, maps and tolls, email, and a rate check. So if you were to take this load and you were wondering, well, can I find something coming out of where this load is going, you could hit the back hauls tab, and you see that there's 1,162 loads coming out of where this load is going, which is Toppenish. So if you click that, I'm gonna open up in another tab. So I'm gonna open up in another tab so I can switch back and forth. So the back hauls tab is now here. This one here, the back hauls tab. So now under the back hauls tab, do you want something, once you get to Toppenish, Washington State, do you want something going back to Indiana, Hammond, Indiana specifically? If you do, there's 8 loads there. Or do you want something coming out of Toppenish, Washington State, going to the state of Indiana, not necessarily the city? If you do, there's 1 load. If you want something coming out of Toppenish, Washington, going to anywhere, there's 1162. Or if you want something coming out of the state of Washington, no matter where you are, because you're in Toppenish, so you might want a deadhead somewhere else in the state of Washington, going to the state of Indiana, any city, not just Hammond, there's 1 load. And then if you want anything out of Washington anywhere, there's 811 loads. So let's click on, I want something coming out of Toppenish, Washington, going anywhere, because I'm gonna drop this flatbed tarp load up in Washington from Hammond, Indiana, and I want something from that location where I just dropped. I don't want a deadhead anywhere, and I want to go anywhere from where I dropped, and that's 1,162. So if I click that, it's going to give me, it's going to flip the load search now. So now I'm in the Washington, Toppenish, Washington area, and now it finds me a backhaul. And I'm going to, again, put the offer, click the offer button and put those loads in order from highest paying to lowest paying. So get me out of Washington State before I get stuck up there. I got a flatbed with tarps. So I got another load. Here's 4,000, here's 2,300, 2,400. So I can take something coming out of Richland, Washington, which is 49 miles deadhead, not far from Toppenish, going down to Phoenix. It's paying 24, close to $2 a mile, chop tank. So there. That's how you would find backhauls, is to get you out of areas so you won't be stuck in. Now, I don't know if you noticed or not, guys, but one of the second largest brokerage company had a data a couple weeks ago, I think it was, a breach. Has anyone heard about the TQL data breach failure? Just out of curiosity, anyone hear about the data breach failure at TQL? Yep. Ruth said yes, it was on CDL Life. Yep. So they were, someone did a spam phishing expedition on TQL, and they got a hold of their broker data and the carrier data with the socials and everything like that. So the load boards, according to sources, have stopped posting loads that are coming out of TQL. So that's probably why you may not see TQL's loads on the load boards. If you go to any load boards, you may not see them. I don't know how long that's going to be. So let's see, Ruth, I think that was you that said Texas. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so give me an equipment type and a city in Texas.
Dry van,
Okay.
Dallas.
Dry van, Dallas, Texas, and let's say you don't have anywhere it's going. You just saying, let's say tomorrow you're picking up and going anywhere in the United States, right? Just to see if we can find some decent backhaul back somewhere else. So Detrill said he saw some TQL. I actually seen some of this morning from TQL coming out of Las Vegas. Okay, so they got it resolved. Okay, so drive in Dallas. So have you ever navigated this 123 load board before, Miss Ruth?
I was on it yesterday.
Okay. So we got that drive in. Let's click search. We have 117 loads, right, on 2 pages. This is page 1. We got page 2. So I'm going to click the offer to put it in order of highest paying to lowest paying. Okay, visitor, welcome. I got a note from the visitor. Hi, Mr. Money, I am visiting. Sent you a text on Friday about being in the network and membership. Just wanted to know it's me. Okay, yeah. Welcome. Robert said 100 mile deadhead. So this is a generic one. So from Dallas, we got. So let's edit our, because I just put a generic one. Let's edit it and put, so instead of 150, Robert, are you cool with 150? It's 50 extra miles. You said 100 miles. Okay, so we're going to leave it at 100 miles. I'm going to go back to search and hit the offer. So now we got rates that are showing. Some of the rates that don't show, you can call those companies and you may get a better rate than what's listed. Some of these rates that are posted, they're trying to probably sell those loads. It could have been higher, but let's do some numbers here. 23 at 15, that's not good. This is not good. So you can pretty much look at the loads and see the mileage and the rate that they're not good loads. So let's open up our DAT trend lines and see what's going on for a dry van, the national rates, okay? So coming out of Texas, that's why. The national rates for a dry van, I got dry van selected, the national rates right now in the Texas area is only $1.69 a mile. Can you believe that? So these rates are down for a dry van. Let's select another equipment type. Let's say a reefer. Let's see what the rates for our reefer coming out of Texas. 207, that's a lot better. And then for a flatbed, let's select the rates for a flatbed. 209, 239, so about similar. It seems that the Midwestern states have the highest rates per mile, irregardless of the equipment type. So if you notice, flatbed is 239 in this particular area of these states. If you select van, it's 202, which is higher than all the others in that same area. And let's go to reefer. It's 244. So 244 is the highest. So we're going to let's select reefer. Let's go back to 123 load board and edit our search and change the equipment type from a dry van to a reefer, leaving out tomorrow. Let's not select a specific date. Let's just leave that blank because we may have a few days later. So let's select nothing there and Dallas, Texas, and see what's, well, let's select a region, state that's in this high range. Let's say Indiana. So let's use one of Robert's. Give me a city in Indiana. Fort Wayne, Gary. What city, Robert? Does it matter for you? Indianapolis? You want to go Naptown? I think we got some industrial parks out there in Naptown, so let's say Indianapolis. That's one of the popular cities over there. Gary is kind of Indianapolis, Indiana, and hit that 411. So 5 pages worth of loads, 411 of them. And let's click our offer to put it in order of highest to lowest. And then let's look. You want to look at your miles column. If you got this column, it's the distance and the weight. So the distance in this case, 2362. The weight is 43,000 pounds. But if you look here, the rate is pretty cheap. So that's not a good cents per mile. You open that up, that's $1 and something. $1.65 right there. So we want to select a load coming out of Indianapolis, going anywhere that's paying a decent okay, so Robert said 100-mile radius is about 2 miles away. So let's edit that. Let's change our, because we can change that to 100 and research. Now it's 222 instead of 411. Let's put it in order of highest to lowest, and now we got some numbers. So Decatur, Indiana, going to Salt Lake City, Utah. If we click that one, it's $1.74. That doesn't meet that $2.44 reefer. cents per mile. 988. Cincinnati, Ohio, which is 99, under 100 miles, going to New York, upstate New York. So here we go. Here's one. So if we go from, if we look at our map column, map tolls column, $1,700, 682 miles, $2.47 a mile. That's a reefer. So the question with this, usually with reefer loads, you need to know how many pickups and how many drops, right? Because with a reefer load, you're making, unless it says it's a 1-and-1, a 1 pick, 1 drop, it's going to have 2 to 3 picks, 2 to 3 drops, so you're going to be out there longer, which means that you can negotiate the rate a little bit higher because you're making more than 1 pickup at more than 1 shipper, and you may or may not be doing more than 1 drop or more than 1 delivery at more than 1 receiver. So with that being said, now you factor in wait times, detention, layover, things like that, and bring that rate up. You may bring this up to, like, depending on how many picks and drops, you may be able to bring this up to 25. So an extra 800, so which make the rate even better, makes that rate even better. But the main reason, or another main reason for looking at this portion of 123 load board and seeing the features of it is the backhaul, because you get up to New York. So let's see where we are in this here. Let's go to Google real quick, and we were going out of Cincinnati, Ohio, to Amsterdam, New York. I believe that's upstate. It's not on the island, but it's okay. So it's upstate New York, not Albany. So it's not on the island. So the tolls and everything you don't have to worry about. But you're taking I-71 to I-90 east. I-71 north to I-90 east, so you're going up and then over. Past Buffalo, Rochester, Amsterdam is by Albany, so it's by the capital. So that's where you're going. So you need to find something coming out of Amsterdam or within a certain deadhead. So let's click the backhauls tab. So this is how you use 123 load board to try to find your carrier's backhauls out. So if you have a tool that can help you with that, that'd be even better, as opposed to us just going on the load board and actually spot market, trying to find spot market loads. If you got a resource like this one, 123 load boards, that kind of does it for you, that's a little bit more helpful. So let's click the backhauls tab and see our options here. So once we get to, it's picking up on the 9th, out of Cincinnati, Ohio, which is a Monday. It's going 689 miles, so that's going to take about a day, maybe a day and a half. You count your reset time for the 10 hours. Let's say you pick up Monday, get there Tuesday. You're going to be looking for something coming out of there Wednesday, potentially, with all your reset time, depending on how much time you had when you picked the load up. All those factors play into it. If you only had so many hours when you picked up, and there you go. Also, too, if you notice here on the backhaul section, you have a fuel cost calculator. The miles you're going times 2.53 divided by 5 miles a gallon. That's how much you're paying for fuel, $3.49. So out of the $1,700, you're paying about $3.50 in fuel to drive this load. Okay, but let's get back to the backhauls portion of it, because we want to find something coming out. We got a good paying load going up at $2.47 a mile, depending on how many picks and drops it is. And you'll know that once you go to load information and you call the broker, give them the load ID and things like that. It's saying one quantity is one load, but how many stops it doesn't say. So you would have to call them and reference the reference number or the load number. But going back to backhauls, So do you want to go back towards the Cincinnati area from Amsterdam? Do you want to go back to the state of Ohio from Amsterdam? If so, you got either 24 or 11 loads. You click the link and it opens up. Do you want to go from Amsterdam, New York to anywhere? That'll probably be what I do, unless you want to go back to that same load. If it's paying well, so this is what you think of as a dispatcher. If that load was paying well going up there, then I would want to get a load going back to get some more of that money going back up, and then create like a back and forth kind of thing. If it was not paying well, then I would look for something out of there going anywhere to see what else comes up. So if it was paying well, then we would have to find something going back to the Cincinnati, Ohio area to get another one of those $1,700 loads. So let's say that was the case. Let's just use that one scenario, and then we'll use the other scenario that the load didn't pay well, and then we'll try to find something out of Amsterdam, New York, anywhere to get us to another area that may pay better than what we have currently. So let's say it paid well. We want to go back to Cincinnati. We have 24 loads backhaul back to the Cincinnati area. 24, so we put the order. So we can go down to Connecticut. So from Amsterdam, we can go down to Connecticut right here to pick that load up, and then take it over to Kentucky, which is 138 miles, London, Kentucky, which is 138 miles from Cincinnati. So we're going to go down to like Louisville, Lexington area, which is not far, if we choose this load here. Now it's only $1.69 a mile, 888 miles, but it's paying you to get back to that money load, and you're covering at least covering the fuel of $4.50. So you're not losing that much money in that sense, but let's find a better load. Picking up in Ellington, Connecticut, going to West Jefferson, Ohio, which is literally in the Cincinnati area. Chop Tank is offering that $694. You still got to deadhead down to Connecticut to get a load, and then go, oh, that's $1.80. But that's the idea there. Any questions on that? So Robert says, so that would be a question that should be asked when talking to the broker. How many loads do you have going that way? Correct. When you first, like, let's go back to the first leg of that run, the Cincinnati to Amsterdam, New York. When you book that load as a dispatcher, when you book that load, of course, I would ask, because I want to anticipate, especially if it's a good load going up, I'll worry about the backhaul coming back at some point, but I want to establish that first leg first going out. So let's say that was a good paying load going out. Then you, of course, ask the broker, how often do these loads go out to this area? You know, they say once a week, every day, twice a week. So if it's every day or 3 times a week, then, of course, you want to take that load, get up there, and then try to get back to get another load. You know, get a backhaul back to that another load. So that's a good question. You would, and that's one of the ways to establish the relationship with the broker. When you first book loads with brokers starting out, that should be an initial question regardless of the load. You know, area code 469, hello. I don't know if you had a question now. I see you're on. Any other questions on that? No questions on that. Does any of you dispatchers have a driver right now that you are working on trying to find a load for, and that you're having issue with it? No questions from dispatchers who may have a driver? Does anyone who is listening to this call now have any questions about dispatching in general? Like, where are you stuck? What questions do you have? Where are you in the process of being a independent freight dispatcher? Any questions about that? You log out of here, 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 and here.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, what's going on?
It's me, Alicia.
Hey, Alicia, how are you? I was just trying to see.
I was, over the weekend, or it was a few days ago, I did some cold calling. Remember I told you I was ready to start? I started cold calling. The first one was not good at all. The second one jumped right on it. Because he was a hot shot. And I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't realize it until we were almost kind of finished talking. Got his information, sent him my information. And so I'm working on him getting his information back to me now. But I'm finding that I do see that he's going to have to deadhead to get from where he is. And he just seems to not even want to really budge. He's asking for like $2.50. I was able to find him like a little over $2. He just was not, not willing. But he's new. He's been doing his hot shot for almost a year. He's been April to be a year. So he's just really been in Colorado doing things. So is it just that he's just really not knowing and he's just stuck in his ways?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, because I cannot get him to budge. But, I thought it was some pretty decent stuff. He'll go anywhere, but it just don't seem like it. So I just kind of stepped away for a minute so I can kind of, give him some other stuff to get him out of Colorado completely because it just seemed like he just stuck.
Yeah, I would let him. Because he can get that rate, $2.50 a mile or whatever, doing short runs. You get higher rates doing short runs, but if you're going to do long haul, over the road type stuff, especially with a hot shot, he would probably need to focus on military freight, getting on base.
Okay.
Military brokers that can move freight that can go on a hot shot. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming when you called this person and you did your cold calling with the initial cold call, mm-hmm. you probably selected trucker's path and you selected the flatbed category, but I don't know if when you started talking to him, you probably didn't ask if was he a 48 or 53-foot flatbed.
Right. Well, when he said he was, when he said 40 foot, and the most that he would, his weight was between 12,000 and 15,000. That's when I knew right there.
Right. Or if you ask the question, like if you go on trucker's path and you select your criteria for the three main equipment types, right? Mm-hmm. And if you decide to call a flatbed carrier who's listed on Truckers Path right now as active or as available, either to they're on there looking for a load, or they're making their trucks available, right? So you're going to hit truck search, and you select those 3 equipment types: flatbed, dry van, and reefer, and the satisfactory category, and you select. So you say, okay, I'm gonna call this flatbed person. One of the first things questions I get to is I see are you under load, looking for a load for your 48 or 53-foot flatbed? And they go, oh no, I got a hot shot. At that point right there, then you decide if you want to continue. So let's do one right now. Look, Scott Warren, here's a flatbed category, Ed Mazda Trucking. So he might be the driver for Ed Mazda Trucking. So let's vet him out, right? And see. Let's see if this person is a hot shot or if he's a 48, 53-foot. So for those of you who do vetting or do cold calling through Truckers Path, this is what we do, right? We go on here, I copy the MC, put it in the MC category of Safer website. So he's a carrier. He's a common carrier authorized for property. So that's his operating status, right? He's a one-man, 1-in-1. And so let's see here. Warren Trucking. So it's called Warren Trucking LLC, but it's Ed Mazda Trucking. So he might be driving under someone's authority. That's what it sounds like. So let me turn my volume up on my phone and give Warren a call here so you guys can hear the conversation. So I don't know this guy from Adam. This is my first time calling this person. This is, matter of fact, let me turn my video back on as well so you guys can see my video. Can you see me? 773-7239. Hopefully you can see me. It's acting up, but can you see my screen now? Me? Well, you can hear me dialing. Let's just do that. You can hear me dialing.
We can see your.
I'll turn the video off, but I'm call, put it on speaker so you can hear it. There we go. You hear it ringing?
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Hey, ¿cómo está? ¿Hablas inglés, amigo?
No.
No English?
No.
Ah, I don't speak Spanish that well. I'm sorry. Are you under a load for your flatbed, or are you looking for a load? We may have a tweet. Are you driving under a load, or are you looking for a load?
Why are you talking?
Hello?
No.
No hablas inglés. Gracias, amigo. Hasta luego. Sí. So I call one who barely spoke English, so I wasn't going to be able to. There was a language. As a matter of fact, I'm actually working on a dispatcher who speaks Spanish, and I'm going to target the Latino and Hispanic owner-operator community, because there's a lot of them out there, to try to pull that market into Exodus dispatching. So, well, let me see if I can find another one of the flatbed category, right? So let's do this. Let's just select flatbed as a criteria, right? And search this out. Visitor said, "This is so cool." Thank you, visitor. If you can unmute yourself, if you have any questions. So Randy Cosby, Senior, J.J. Wallace. So we just did the first two 37 minutes ago. So let me refresh this and see what the most recent ones come in, because we've been sitting there for a while. They may be doing a reset, 10-hour reset. Okay, so that's 3 minutes. So he's been up there for a while. So if I call these guys, they're gonna be like, maybe sleep, but you know. Anyway, let's do it. Copy the DOT, select DOT radio button, paste that value, hit enter. 3 and 3. So he may be a company driver for Eureka Transport. This Randy Cosby Sr. Oh no, he's the owner, DBA. So let's see what's going on. All right, so he wasn't there. Let's try. I know their posted time. They've been there for 40 minutes, so they may be away from the phone. They may be resetting. They may be asleep. They be with family. That's why sometimes he's in Fort Lee. He's close to me, actually. So Jamel Rawling, let's copy his. He's from, let's try one more. But this is what we would do. Go back. He's a DOT, so I'm going to copy his DOT value. And he's a 1 and 1, so he's an owner. His entity type, remember we were talking about in the quiz, we went over the answers to the quiz. His entity type is carrier of property, so we know he's good since last year. Little under a year he's had his authority. So let's go back and see. Put him on speaker. He's from North Carolina.
Hello?
Hey, can I speak to Jamel Rawling, please?
Hello?
Can I speak to Jamel Rawling, please?
Who?
Jamel Rawling, JJ Rawling Trucking.
Who is this?
My name is Charles. I'm with Exodus Dispatch, and I'm just trying to see if you're under a load for your flatbed or if you're looking for a load.
You said what now?
Are you under a load or are you looking for a load for your flatbed?
Oh, no, I ain't doing that right now.
Are you doing your reset? You resting?
Oh, yeah.
When are you gonna be heading back out again? Like Monday or later on?
I don't know yet right now, but I already got something set up. I appreciate it.
Okay, all right, no problem. So I didn't even get a chance to ask him whether he had a 48 or 53 footer. He says he already got something set up. Now, sometimes you'll get that, which is fine. It wasn't nasty. It wasn't disrespectful. He just said he had something set up. I said, okay, that's fine.
Right.
Right? So, but sometimes you get some people like, who the hell you calling? How you get my number? Rah. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You're gonna get that sometimes. You gotta have thick skin a little bit. But you don't know them. They don't know you. You don't see them, they don't see you, right? So it's not like they're going to hang up the phone and come straight to your house, right? So, but let's see, Lee Pearson. So, but this is what you would do. This is one of the methods for carrier acquisition. You would cold call. Cold calling is one method. Of course, another method, one of the better methods, actually, if you have the truck stops located in your area. Visit those truck stops, actually talk to the carriers, start a conversation because they see you verbally and physically see you. You start a conversation, let them know who you are. This is the service you provide. One of the main questions they're going to ask, well, some of them ask, if they're smart carriers, well, I don't want to say smart like to say that they're dumb, but I'm just saying if they think about it, they'll say, well, what makes you different than all the other dispatchers? What can you do that's different than all the other dispatchers who are trying to, take my money? So how would that question be answered? from a dispatcher's perspective? How would you answer that question if I was the carrier, you were trying to, solicit your service to me? Basically, that's what we're doing until we can prove ourselves that we know what we're doing and that we can keep them running consistently based off of the resources that we have available to us, either in our trainings or we've gotten on our own outside of trainings. What can you do that's different than all the other dispatchers? What makes you stand out? So if you can honestly answer that question in a convincing way to the carriers, then you have an opportunity to provide your service to them and prove yourself. So if I were to ask any one of you who are listening on this call now to answer that question, what makes you different? You know? Robert wants me to open a new carrier list on the FMCSA and see if we can contact a new carrier. So let's do that. So I got one open now, but let's go to licensing and insurance and go up to the top here. Choose FMCSA, the registry. Here's a 2-week listing of FMCSA registered carriers, whether they changed their name, their location, whether they just received their FMCSA or MC authority. I'm going to open up the most recent one, which was 2 days ago. 3 days ago. 2 days ago. Sorry, today's the 8th. And Ruth said we would cater the search. Right. We would cater the search to where you want to go and for the price you want to run. Right. You basically are giving them exactly what they want for what they want it for. Right. As opposed to sometimes people just force dispatching on carriers. But mainly those are the ones who are like company drivers and owner-operators who need work consistently. But if you can find owner-operators who need work consistently, but yet still provide them what they need for the amount of money that they need, because owner-operators know their margins. They know their cutoff marks. They know their profitability limits. So after all expenses, how much cents per mile do I need in order to make a profit? So they know what their expenses are, where they're going, and what those expenses are, mainly being insurance and fuel. So if they can find something that pays at least $2 a mile or better, so if I'm a carrier, if I get at least $2 a mile, I know I'm gonna make a profit. So if you can find me a load at $2.20, $2.30, then I'm making more of a profit. So as a dispatcher, I say, well, let me find you something paying $2.50. So they're gonna love you. So because they know what their margins are, they know what their cap is. So now you provide a service that's above that, and you should be fine. So let's go here, the FMCSA register, and we're going to go down to the section transfers, fitness. We're in non-fitness. Now, if you notice, fitness. Motor, common, and contracted carriers of property except household goods. So remember that? Remember those categories we had of the MC authorities? Common carriers, contracted carriers, HHG, and passenger carriers. Remember we were talking about that earlier in the recording before we had that computer crashing discrepancy. So we want to focus on common carriers with except for household goods, right? Common carriers of property except for household goods. Now, if you see here, FF, those are freight forwarders. They're like brokers, but a little bit, brokers on steroids, I guess you would say. So we'll get past the freight forwarders. Now we're getting into MCs, right? So we got interstate. Oh yeah, we do have common carriers except household goods, but we got two different types of common carriers of household goods: interstate and intrastate. So what's the difference between the two, the intrastate and interstate? So INTER can touch all 48 states or outside of their home state. INTRA, intrastate, only can move freights within the state. Right, correct, Allison. I just saw you type that in, correct. So we have here interstate, Crown. So the only thing when we see new MCs on this listing here, the only thing that we don't know is what equipment type they have. So when we actually are cold calling, we're literally cold calling them blind, because on Trucker's Path it shows the equipment types, but on this registry it just gives the name of the business, and there you go. So what we can do is we can open up another resource while we're looking at the registry called the DAT directory, and do a search for this company to get an idea of their equipment type based off of the commodity or the freight that they haul. You guys follow me there? So for example, this one right here, Crown Trucking. So I'm going to open up another tab. I'm going to close this one and close this one. Going to open up Trucker's Edge, which is another resource on this platform, and go log in, right? So I'm logged in, and then over here in this orange area to the left, click under Tools, drop down, DAT directory. So when we get here, we want to see you got these 4 tabs: Search Directory, My Office, Manage Reputation, Carrier Watch. Under here, you want to leave the Search Directory and then search New Business Partners. Click that. Company name, let's go back to the registry. Company name is Crown Trucking LLC. So let's enter that in. Crown Trucking LLC. Company type. We're going to say they are, let's assume that they are a carrier. Right? Let's just make that assumption. Okay? And when we get a result, we want to see if the address here matches what the result says over here. Okay? So search by company name, carrier, city. Let's see what city they are in. They are in McDonough, Georgia. So we'll hit McDonough and Georgia. Let's say a radius of 150, and then we're going to hit search and see if we come up with them. And it didn't find anything. So let's go back. And let's just do McDonough, Georgia, and leave the company name blank within a 150-mile radius, and see if that. There we go. So now we have 500 matches found, but let's see if that one that's the new registry in there, what was it called, Crown Trucking. So let's go to the DAT directory, because these are, it appears that these are in alphabetical order according to this. So let's see if Crown, we're in A's right now, so let's see if Crown Trucking, and it does not appear that they're here. But let's choose one of these. You see? Or if we're still curious about these new ones that just got their authority, maybe they got their authority, but it's not active yet. So let's copy their MC and put it into a secondary safer, because I got one open for the registry. So let's put the MC there. So it's not even active yet. So they have the number, but it's not active. So that you may run into that situation as well. So let's scroll down to another one. And here's one here. Oh, let's do this. Let's go back. Let's go back to Crown Trucking LLC. Let's look them up by name. Let's copy. Let's go to the safer and look them up by the name and see if there's a company called Crown Trucking. Okay, so here we go here. Here's one, Crown Trucking McDonough, right? That could be them. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. So we possibly found them right there. McDonough, Georgia. There's the link. Let's click the link. They're not authorized. So that's why it didn't show when it said no records found, because they're not authorized yet. Right here, they're not authorized yet. So they may, and something could be wrong with their DUNS number, their MC. Something could be wrong with their insurance, something that the FMCSA deemed them not being authorized. So we would, once you see this in red, that's why it's in red, so it stands out, we will move on to the next one. So let's see, let's look it up by name, NMN Trucking, and do the same thing and see NMM Trucking, Garner, North Carolina. So let's see if they are authorized. Okay, so here they are. They are authorized for property. They are a carrier. They are a 1-in-1. So now we will call them and see, because we don't know what their equipment type is. But let's see if we can find that in that directory for them. Let's go back to search and NMN Trucking in Garner. They were from Garner, North Carolina. So there's different ways to look this up, because I want to know what their equipment type is. Garner, North Carolina, because I don't want to go in blind. I don't want to call them and say, hey, are you under a load, looking for a load, and I don't know what their equipment type is. Because if I ask them, I say, what are you hauling right now? I could ask it like that and show it in a way that I may know what I'm talking about. But to say, what's your equipment type, they're going to be like, well, you looked me up, so I figured you knew that, you know. Okay, so here they are right here. We pulled it up. So now we found one in the registry, the registry of newly acquired MC Authority owner-operators. We looked them up in Safer. They were a one-man person, owner-operator. We looked in that directory so we can get an idea of what their equipment type is, and we find that information down here. Commodities. So they haul general freight household goods. So that could be a dry van, right? So if we scroll down a little bit, that tells me that they may be a dry van. So 626-808, 626-808, 626-808. So it's the same number. So this was a little bit more drilled down research, but I wanted to be sure that they were active, that they possibly knew. They just got February. They just got on. Not even a month. So let's see what they're working with.
Automatic voice message system 6268085.
So they have a common active authority. They're not a contractor. They're not a broker, right? So I tried calling them. They didn't answer. It's a California number, even though they're based in Garner, North Carolina. So that's kind of, they must have lived out there and never changed their number back. They're interstate. They have an interstate authority. Their DOT number, their MC number. It's fairly new, like a month. He may call back while we're on this training. But that's how it's done. That's a little bit more extensive. But any questions on that? And you guys can thank Robert for making me do all that. Thanks, Robert. Okay, so let's see. Somebody put something in the chat here. Robert's laughing. But that's kind of a backdoor thing. So when you're on the registry from the FMCSA or the SAFER website and you're looking at the newly acquired MC carriers, they're going to be looking for help more so than the ones who are seasoned. So let's try to find another one. Here is Porter's Trucking, Transport. They got theirs on the 11th of February. Cindy Gomez, Gomez Transport. Let's see what Cindy is. Let's do some research. So the first thing we do, let's look her name up one more time. Let's do another one. See if we can contact. Let's look her up by name. We're going to select a name in SAFER. Okay. And then go back and see what address. They're in Rochester, New York. So let's go back. Here it is, Rochester, New York. So I'm going to click that. She's not authorized. So once I see that red, I'm going to move on to the next one. So that helps out. So these are, so that red doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. They just haven't, their authority is not active yet. It could be for any reason. It may not necessarily have to be a bad thing. Maybe they're still in their period where they're checking the insurances, they're checking things out, and vetting out the carrier, because they may be in that period in between of them applying for that FMCSA authority and the time that it actually goes back. So Robert asked, how far back can that FMCSA page go of new carriers? Here it is right here. We started on page 30. This is a 71-page PDF. You start in the fitness section, which is right here on page 34. And I would say about 20, 30 pages, Robert. Let's scroll. Let's give us an idea. Because it's pretty long. It's pretty extensive. So you can establish a good 2 or 3 good carriers who are new, and if you keep them running with brokers, oh, you mean dates. How far back FMCSA of new carriers? It varies. But they list the registry. They post it in 2-week increments. And then they post it, I would say, to be fair, I would say 90 days. So about 12 weeks, 90 days, because it's 4 weeks in a month times 3 months. Yeah, 12 weeks. So let's try to find one more that we can actually research. Because I've been scrolling down this one here for a while, but let's ENT Trucking. ENT Trucking, that looks like they're in Alabama. Let's look this one up. ENT Trucking in Mobile, Alabama. So the first thing we do, we're on the new registry, and then we go to a second tab of FMCSA, SAFER website, and we select the name radio button, and we put in that name, ENT, Mobile, Alabama, right? That was the one that we selected, Mobile, Alabama. And let's see if it says that they are authorized or not. And they're not authorized, so they haven't gotten. And see, but let's say they were. So once we get that, then we're going to go to the DAP directory and do a search for that name as well, and then look up the type of commodity to see what equipment type they have, and then give them a call because we assume that they're brand new. So we have a more likelihood of getting them to sign a dispatcher agreement. The only challenge is we have a certain number of brokers that deal with carriers with their MCs being a year or 6 months or less old. There are some out there. I have a list of about 10 or 11 of them. There are more. I just haven't had a chance to research them all. But as I get them, I add them to the back office area. So Black Cat Trucking out of New York. So let's look this one up. Man, this cat, he had 4 trucks, so why is he not up now? He may have done something. It's hard to say. A lot International, the best auto. So this is auto transport. So if you were to transporting cars, then you find those. So he says it. He's auto transport. So then you have a relationship with. So if you're looking, so if you got Central Dispatch and you're doing auto hauling, and you need new carriers, this person could be a qualifier, the best auto transport. And then you got towing companies. So now we're back in the brokers now. I don't want to deal with that one. So let's go back up. I want to find one more. Let's try this one. ATI Transport out of Houston, Texas. So let's copy that one. Now, mind you, we're on the new MC Authority registry, looking up owner-operators who just got their authority. Houston, Texas. Okay, so now, 2 and 3. So 2 and 3, 25th, 2 power units, 3 drivers. So let's look them up. Yep, TQL was one of the ones that signed a new carrier for 6 months or less. Yes, they were, Robert. Yes, good question. Let's look up. And they were out of Houston, Texas. So let's go to the DAT directory and look up the one I just put in here. Houston, Texas, 150-mile radius. And why is he not in there? Interesting. What was it? ATI. I thought I did everything correctly. 100-mile radius. Maybe he's not in there. All right, so let's. Any other questions while I look for our next? Let's try this one. So I just wanted to literally show you. They're out of Orlando. Let's see. Yep. They're out of Orlando. Not authorized yet. Okay. Someone had a question? Yeah, the brokers are asking for 90 days in business mostly. Yep. I had one broker who I let me book a load for a guy who was in for a month. What was that one? It was Alan Munn. Man, what was the name of that brokerage? I forget. All right. Any questions? But this is the homework. So to keep from wasting your time when you vet out carriers, you want to, this is just one avenue if you want to go after it. If you want to target new carriers, this is one area to do it under. The DAT directory is another area where you can leave all these. You can choose an area like, let's say, Indianapolis. The only thing here is you would have to figure out the equipment type based off of the commodity or the freight that they haul. So Indianapolis, Indiana, you got 500 matches found. So now you're doing A&A Express. These are trucking companies. These are carriers. Freight carriers, A&M Freight Carriers, LLC. So here's their information. So let's see what they haul. They're intrastate only, non-hazmat. So if you want to work with them, and they do auto parts, general freight, paper products, so they probably a dry van, no hazmat, and only in the state of Kentucky. So you kind of limit yourself with them. Let's see, AR Trucking, let's choose them. Truckload, company type, truckload, long distance. So that tells me over the road. Commodities. So general freight, metals, sheets, coils, rolls. So what equipment type does that tell you this person has? For those of you, and it says it right here. So if you scroll down, equipment 1 and 1, and this is right here. So we probably can use the DAT directory more so flatbeds, right? So there you go. They were founded in 2012. Aaron Cobb, AR Cobb Trucking, based in Kentucky. So they have a 48-foot flatbed. So, Alicia, you could have avoided that high shot deal here if you would have went, instead of going on Trucker's Path, in your case, you could have went to the DAT directory and did a search for, but you have to choose a specific state, because I don't think the directory is going to let you search. You see, they're not going to let you search all states. I don't know if you can select all the states. I guess you could. Let me see. Control A. So I selected all the states. So let's do this. I'm going to unselect it, but I want to select all the states. Control A. Select everything within no radius, and then see if it lets me do it. Okay. So I got everything. I got Canada, Ontario, California, Alabama. So I just discovered that I can select the whole listing under, let's go back. I can select the whole listing, research new business partners. I can just click my mouse in here and hold down the control key and hit the A button, and it selects everything, right? And then I can hold, if I want to eliminate some of that stuff, like the Mexicos and all this, I can hold down the control key and click on just one, click for it to go away, but still leave the other ones selected, right? So here's a little trick to it, because I'm not going to be down in San Juan, Puerto Rico anytime soon, or Puebla, Mexico. So I'm going to leave all the United States and maybe Canada selected, but then deselect the ones that I'm not going to be anywhere near. It's a little extra, like that's Mexico State, Durango. Okay. And then the territories in Canada. Saskatchewan, Ontario. Okay, so it deselected everything. I don't know why I did that. Let me go back and go up to where it begins, America, Wyoming, right here, and then work my way back down. That way I only have the United States and not I got the control key held down, and then I click on the ones that's highlighted to de-highlight. So okay, and hopefully it left the others selected. Okay, there we go. So now hit search. Okay, so now it has all United States. So now you can choose A&A Trucking. That's Noblesville. I used to live in Noblesville, Indiana. Truckload, long distance, that's over the road. You scroll down to the equipment area. It should have it. So they got one reefer, 53 foot, and 3 dry vans, 53 foot. So we know. We know what equipment types they have. So it's like 4 trucks in this company. So you can pretty much service this company. Give them a call. They're interstate. They've had their MC. Well, they did their MCS 150 form, which means they either redid their MC authority, from 2018, because they drove 164,420 miles in 2018. They just renewed their MC on this date for whatever reason, either a change of address, change of location. The MCS 150 form is you've made some type of change or you updated your MC. That's what that means. Because last year they recorded 164,420 miles in 2018. They haven't been out of state service. They haven't had any out of service dings. They haul general freight in the reefer and dry van category. They have 3 units, 2 operators, 2 company drivers, 1 team. A number of teams is 1. They have their trailers are air ride suspensions instead of spring. Okay, so that directory, this resource back here in the back office is good to look at to get a lot of information prior to calling the carrier. They have a common carrier authority and it's active. The status is active and it's a common carrier. They're not a contract or a broker, right? They haul freight, they don't haul passengers, and they don't do household goods. So remember everything we were talking about, household goods authority, passenger, contracted, they're not contract, right? They're not passenger, they're not HHG, they are common. So here's a good area to get that information from to help reinforce what everything else we were talking about earlier. This kind of reinforces it. So the DAP directory seems like it's there's a little bit more details about this one. Okay, Robert. Robert wants me to call. Indiana. Hello, can I speak to the A&A Trucking, please?
Who is this?
My name is Charles. I'm with Exodus Dispatching Services. I'm trying to see if you guys are under a load or need any loads.
Need what?
Loads. Are you guys under a load or do you need any loads? Are you guys booked for the week, or are you looking for something, or are you? I don't think he understood me because he hung up. Did I call the right number? I did call. I called the business phone because it's the same right here too. So I got hung up on. Mike said, LOL, check is in the mail. That was rude. That was strange, wasn't it, Allison? It's fine though. You'll get hung up on carriers who either don't understand what you're saying or are not interested, but in the conversation on the phone in a different way by hanging up, as opposed to saying something like, I'm good, thank you, I'm okay, I'm pretty much set for the week. So, and then what do? We just move on to the next, right? There's no hard feelings. That's just the nature of the business. So, and yeah, we do need a bilingual in the platform. I have a friend. She speaks Spanish fluently, so I just need to train her in the dispatching portion of it. So when she gets carriers under agreement, we just keep them running. Matter of fact, I need to talk to her. Yeah, get used to rejection. That's fine, because you'll get more out of every 10 carriers you call. I'm trying to figure out a nice average. Out of every 10 carriers you call, you may get 6 rejections. But those 4 who express interest, of the 4, 2 of them may, or maybe even 1 of them may say, send me a dispatch agreement. But that's fine. That's not bad margin. It may seem like it's bad because 1 out of 10 people will say, send me a dispatch agreement. So if you call 100 people in a week's time, right? So you split that up into 7 days or 5 days, so 20 calls a day. In a week's time, if you only get 5 times 5, so if you get 5 good carriers that send you a dispatch agreement, so now you got 5 carriers that you have to manage loads for. So, and you only did 100 calls in that week, not 100 calls a day like a freight broker agent does, but 100 calls in a week. So if you do 20 calls a day and you get 1 person or 2 people for those 20 calls to say, send me a dispatch agreement, and of those 2 out of the 20, 1 of those send it back in that day, or a couple of days later, of course, then that's still good. So once you start proving yourself, and you're making all those calls, your pitch, your tone, your diction, the way your confidence building up, whether it's being rejected or not, and you start talking in. You start talking like a regular person. You have a conversation with them. So it can be. It says, Ruth says, when you get hung up on, that would be the perfect time to send the text script. Or would that be the perfect time? It could be if you feel that you may have had a shot with that person. You just kind of messed up on the verbal portion of it. Otherwise, I'll just move on. I wouldn't waste too much time. So, but the cold calling is probably the better. Then you got texting, emailing, things like that. But yeah, if you feel that on the call that you were making a little headway, but you just got hung up on, and if you got their information right there, you can either text them or even shoot them an email and say, hey, we were talking on the phone. I'm not sure if there was a communication gap, but this is who I am. This is what I do. If you need my service and you feel that you need help in this area, don't hesitate to reach out to me whenever you need. You know, something to that effect. So there you go. So if a visitor I don't know who the visitor is. Can you unmute yourself? I wanted to ask you a question because I see you asking. Actually, that was Lowe's, I think. Hello.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi, Mr. Mundy. Yeah, no, I was watching old videos and I saw that you were on a call where you had done like 20 to 30 loads. I don't know if it was per day or in a week, but it was a lot. And so I'm fairly new and I haven't actually made my first call yet because I'm always nervous about making the calls. But I had just been watching old videos, so that's all.
Okay, so you haven't made one cold call yet?
No, not at all.
Have you done any?
I just joined a network back in middle of January.
Another network.
Yes.
Okay. So you're not on this network. You joined another network.
Not yet. I plan to be. I just didn't know how that would work with being on both, and but I do. Plan I like your teaching style. I think I mentioned that before. Yes, and your group. I watch your videos. I watch a lot of videos, but I watch yours a lot.
I appreciate that. Have you had a chance to role play, like you're the dispatch, like for example, today maybe, even if you are willing to, like let's say I'll pretend to be a carrier and you pretend to be a dispatcher. You haven't called a real one yet, but if you call, like pretend to call me, I like you to dispatch and you're trying to pitch, however.
Oh gosh.
Now, you don't have to. There's no pressure. I'm just asking, just to give you an opportunity to kind of, because in the role play and in the mock calls, you have a chance to have us critique you and myself and the others who are listening to tell you some of the things that you need to work on, because there are people outside listening in to you now. So when you call a real person, you'll be better prepared because you would have experienced some of the things that you feel that you're nervous on now. So yeah.
Yes, that would help me. That would help me.
Okay. Do you want to do that now or?
I wouldn't mind doing it now. I just don't want to take over since I'm a visitor.
No. That we are family. We're not. I mean, there's no. We're family. We try to help each other. There are no. I mean, that's my goal anyway. And Allison said, yeah, LOL, there might go. She said you'll get. They said you'll get good feedback. Mike says try it. Alicia says we don't mind.
Okay.
So,
okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, so when are you ready to start? You ready to start now or? I'm
ready.
And do you want me to be a hard carrier or give you an easy
I think hard is good. I mean,
because doing an easy carrier, all your bases are covered. But now if you come across a hard carrier, they're gonna be like, So okay, so let's. Yeah. Allison says be easy, Charles, but I'll be easy.
Okay.
Okay, so ring, ring, ring. I'm the carrier. You're the dispatcher, right? Okay, so ring, ring, ring. Hello.
Hi, may I speak to Mr. Monday?
Yes, this is he. How can I help you?
Hi, this is Michelle, and I'm calling from the National Dispatching Network. And I see, are you looking for a load, or are you on the road right now?
Yeah, I'm on the load right now. How'd you get my number?
Actually, I was on a database on Truckers Path, and I got your information and saw that you were looking for a load, so I thought I'd give you a call and see if I can assist you in any way.
Oh man, I forgot I had that daggone login. I'm gonna have to delete that account.
Well, I just wanted to call and see if I could offer my help.
Well, I'm on their load right now. I'll be empty on Monday though. Are you a broker?
I'm not a broker. I'm a dispatcher, and I'd like to help you. So you said you'll be empty on Monday. Do you already have your loads booked for the week, or can I help you with that?
I'm looking for something, but I don't know. It's kind of a short note. Today is Sunday. I don't know what you can find that's different than a broker. What do you
Well, let me
guys
ask you
find?
this.
Yeah.
Well, it varies, but let me just ask you this. Do you have, how much does it cost usually to run your truck? How much do you usually look for when you're looking for loads? Because I'd like to help you with that and see if I can even help you maximize your dollars.
I don't turn my key in the ignition for no less than $225.
$225, huh? And what lanes do you awfully run?
I'm all over. I'll hit the come. I'm based in Virginia, but I'll go pretty much anywhere with the exception of the tolls over on the East Coast. I'm not going to go west of the Appalachians, and I'm not going down in Florida because I can't get out. So.
Okay, so I work with a big group, a network of dispatchers. So if I could find you something over your load and get you booked for, let's say, the week and could generate more money for you than you normally run, would you be open to signing my dispatch agreement and I can start looking for loads for you?
Yeah, I'll be open. I'll have to look it over. What did you say? What did you say you charge?
Well, actually, what I charge, it varies, but I would tell you that normally what I charge is probably $500 per week or 10%, whichever is less.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, and so another thing that I do in the network that I work for, what we do is, let's say if you said you want to book like 3,000, so to minimize the money out of your pocket, I would look for loads that were over the 3,000. So it's not money out of your pocket. So let's say if I found you a load for 3,300, then that 10% is almost none and void to you, right? But you're still going to make your 3,000.
Oh, I see what you just did. You pulled the money from the broker side.
Yeah. So doesn't that sound good to you? Wouldn't you like to put more money in your pocket and then we all win?
You're absolutely right. Yes, ma'am.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you over our dispatch agreement, and once you sign that, I can put together a plan and we can discuss the money that I can make for you per load. Of course, it's going to depend on where you run and the hours of service that you can run, but I will keep that all in mind while I'm putting together a packet for you for the week. So, Mr. Mundy, does that sound good to you?
That sounds good. We give it a shot. I mean, nothing beats a failure but a try.
And I'm definitely going to try because we definitely want to earn your business. We want to, become family.
There you go. All right. Very good. Very good. I'm clapping.
Thank you, Mr. Mundy. Thank you.
Mike, you're welcome. Mike said, Allison said, nice enthusiasm. Great work, Mike says. Allison said, you can sell anything, girl. Said, girl, you can sell anything.
I want to be part. I want to be part of y'all team so bad. I'm working on that. So I mean, thank you. I'm really nervous about making calls, but I've been researching and I watch everything. So I've been watching you all too, and I know Mike just from watching him. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. I'm gonna mute myself now. Thanks.
Yeah, Robert said you're good. He said you got it. You just need more calls to get that confidence up, get that nervousness out. There's always a saying, success is on the other side of fear. So once you get over that fear, you're going to be successful.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay, what's up, Mike?
How you? Yo, I can't, for some reason, I can't hear you. I mean, you can't hear me.
I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me? Oh, okay. But, all right, I was getting ready to say, oh, girl ain't new with this, man. She got experience. That was
some drivers on there who's trying to learn this part of it.
Oh, yeah, she got very good experience. I could tell in the tone and
no, these are mostly people that's learning how to dispatch.
Yeah. So she's good. I agree with you, Mike. I agree with you, Mike. She did good.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
a little bit nervous. A little bit nervous, and then I'm getting ready to go after one of my friends that I know. She's bilingual, so I'm going to target the Hispanic owner operators because they'll pretty much haul anything. I don't want to say they'll haul cheap freight. But
no, you're right. You absolutely right. They're the ones who talk the rates in California. They run it for like 75 cents a mile.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So if I could get my bilingual dispatcher to lock about 10 of those in, we could spread them out. Well, I'll probably keep her busy then.
Yeah. Well, here's a shot where you can go for. Run for the California ones, the ones that live in California. They're just running back and forth. They ain't even leaving the state, and they getting a decent amount of money over there.
Yeah, like from north to south, back.
Exactly.
Yeah, from the valley down to the. Yeah, I got you. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Michelle did pretty good. And let me see if I can get her to comment on here. Anyone else have any comments of any critique? Robert says she did good. Any more critiques about Michelle's performance?
Yeah.
Now, I think Michelle, oh, she's still there. Okay. People are chiming in. Thank y'all. I was very nervous. My voice got shaky. Your voice got shaky at the beginning, but I kind of took it easy on you a little bit because I wanted to see. I was looking past the nervousness, and I was actually listening to the content and how you presented it from a dispatcher's perspective. So the nervousness, the shaky voice, and all, I wasn't really paying attention to that. I wanted to see the value of what you were saying. And that was the part that I judged. So the nervousness and the shaky voice, that's going to go away with time. Like Robert said, just make the calls. Just make the calls. You're going to get rejections and all that stuff. Yeah. It's hard to remember everything. She says it's hard to remember everything I'm learning. Well, the easiest way to remember everything that you're learning, and this goes for everybody, the easiest way to remember everything that you're learning is to actually do it, to actually practice it, to actually do it. So, and Detrail just said, now is this DET real like Detroit or is this Detrail? Because I'm from Detroit, so I need to know that. I actually thought she was, okay, D-Trill. I actually thought she was someone that was trying, so you did it so good that D-Trill thought that you were actually someone calling me to try to get a load. So you did very well. If you come into the trainings another time as a visitor and you want to work on your calling skills again, just let me know. If you know, I do the live trainings Wednesday evening, 6 to 8 p.m., and Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in both cases. Any other questions or comments from anyone? That was very good, Michelle. Very good. Keep it up. I want to join your group, so I am working on that. I really like it. Well, I appreciate that. It's actually not my platform. It's actually our platform, but I guess I'm the moderator, but it's our platform. Because I try to look at it from a team's perspective. Because I just provide the tools and resources and the experience, and then you guys just take all of that and put it to your business and your dispatching. And then when you get areas, when you get stuck from a beginner standpoint, even from an advanced standpoint, at this point, I don't think there's a question that can be asked that if I don't know the answer, I can reach out to someone who does. But this is the basic foundational blueprint, if you will, to help you. get past that hurdle. Once you get a carrier, a good paying carrier, and you get used to finding loads, then all the other things are going to fall in place. Charles has cheat sheets that will help when talking to carriers and brokers. Everything you'll need is in the back office. That is, and I need to update those things too, Mike. But yes, he's absolutely right. And I am a phone call away. Text, voicemail, here's my number. And I'll send an email as well. Yeah, oh yeah, that's another thing too. Let me bring that up. Let me close these other things down and give you an opportunity, Michelle, to Facebook group. Let me log out of these to get some bandwidth. And again, I apologize for the little earlier crashing thing. That's going to probably put a delay in the recording, but that's fine. We still got value from the recording, so that's cool. Well, we have a Facebook group and a Facebook chat group and a YouTube channel to subscribe to. But the Facebook, if you join the Facebook group, Dispatcher 101, you can ask to be added to the chat group, Dispatcher 101, which is right here. So you have to be in the Facebook group first. You have to join the Facebook group, which is right here. I'm going to send a link for those who have not. Once you get approved from the group, then I can put your name into the to join the chat group, and that's where a lot of the communication back and forth with the members in that chat group transpires. And then also, so this is just outside of the training, this just helps maintain that family. And then the Dispatcher 101, if you type that in, you go to the Exodus Logistics. Let me copy this link and put that in there as well. So just another added resource. Like and subscribe to the page so you can have access to the content if you have not already done so. And there you go. So any other questions before we wrap it up here? All right, guys, I appreciate all the attendees today. I hope you guys got value from this training today and going forward. Those who attend on a regular basis, I appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Robert, I will be speaking to my bilingual friend and extending her your offer of joining half off the cost, so we can target the Latino, Hispanic owner-operator community. Okay? I'll ask one more time if there's any other questions. Otherwise, I will see you guys on this coming Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If anything changes between that, I will make note of that as well. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend.